But you just contradicted.
But
Let
if I don't communicate like that in regular life,
let me save you.
If I'm tailoring my conversation and my intent with my words to make other people feel good about what it says, I'm actually faking for the one nigga who hear everything I'm saying. And my best compliment for Jesus is that I fuck with him.
Okay, so I'm still lost.
Is that there's room for everyone. You know, how we meet God is so different in different places, in different spaces. For some people, that conversion rate to really make God real is hard, because like for him, that's how he sees the relationship. To fuck with someone that's the highest, reverence for a person. And there might be a community of people who speak that same language. And so if I come to you and I'm speaking your language, I'm meeting you where you are, I may have a better chance of being able to relate, so that there's an opportunity for a shift in mindset, a shift in paradigm. Because now I see somebody who talks like me, who speaks on, on my same wave, who kind of vibrates with me. Maybe I can fuck with Jesus. You know what I'm saying? For the
I feel like we just did. We just
that
jump shot.
Let me get in here, because whether you believe it or not, this is going to where my next section is. Okay. So with that being said though, right, when you have a love language and you have an encounter with him in that manner, you should not be comparing him equal to people on your level.
But I think that's your experience.
Well, hold on.
Because that's different for everyone.
Well, hold on though, because I get that is my experience, but that should be an experience in life. And let me tell you why I know.
Okay.
Because how you communicate and speak of your mate is not how you communicate to and speak of your regular friends either. And if you do not have that establishment between you, in this particular conversation, levels is not it. Because how I speak to you all as my friends and people is not how I talk to my mate.
Right.
Because what my mate gives me is different than what any of you give me. Yeah. What I have with my mate is not the same as what I have with any of you in this room.
Right.
Wes, you definitely rung that thing all the way in. And I would also agree with you 100%. That in terms of people's relationships with other people, it establishes some type of baseline relationship. And then based off that relationship, it grows in how you converse, what you say, how you say it, how much time you spend with the person, gives depthness, which, I think most people have already spoken to, but not to the extent that you did. So, if you effing with Jesus, like I'm effing with my best friend, or if I'm treating, my kids like I love them, there's relationship in all of that. And I'm so glad that you spoke to that. So glad.
So in my belief and how we approach and how we talk to God, I do believe you talk to him differently if you come from a place of where you're honoring God and you hold him higher than everyone else. I believe that's what Wes was beginning to say. Richard, I think his view, just from where he stands from, I think that's fine if that's his view. Just like everybody on the panel, I believe, had their own view. but he was the only one that was like agitated by other people speaking what their view was. So I think he, in his way, speaks to God. And for me, I speak to God. That's my homie. That's my daddy God. I rock with him. But I also honor him and I reverence him, and everyone just is not at that place and space yet.
So you cannot tell me that that doesn't apply with your relationship with Jesus Christ, but it applies with your relationship with humans, because that lets me know that whatever encounter you've had with Jesus might be surface.
Okay, I can understand that.
No, I didn't speak for me.
Okay, period. I definitely get that. But even there's a mindset that comes with knowing how to tier things out, or knowing that there is a hierarchy, that there is a decency and an order. There's a mindset that comes with that. And you know,
Decency
everybody.
and order is strange words to put in this conversation with referencing as I am with Jesus.
No, I'm just saying, as far, that was me just being melodic, poetic. It wasn't, yeah. So,
I felt the poetry. I felt the poetry.
I think that just really to talk about that, the separation, the hierarchy, the chain of commands. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's something that you come with, you develop. Like, I already know that's something that's ingrained in me. And for Richard, maybe that there's a difference in relationship and how we see relationship and how we rate relationship and how I express my love and how I show that, you know what I'm saying? There just might just be a difference in how that order is set. So just going back to my comment about learned love, I think this is another case of where we're seeing learned love and learned action, even when it comes to putting things, like I said, in a hierarchy, having a decency and an order. These are things that have been learned. And I feel like even in our boy Richard's case, how he communicates is also something that has just been learned. So I feel like this is just an example, you know, as we're kind of discussing these tiers and these levels and this appropriation of reverence. I think those are learned things for sure. Because for you, it's like, no, I'm not gonna talk to you how I talk to my mate. But for him, it's like, no, I want you to know that the reason, the way I honor and respect the person that I feel like I'm the closest to, well, I'm the closest to God too, and that's how I feel like I'm an honor respect. That's just the mindset.
Okay, so with all of that being said, one of the main things I was saying, no, and it was not to take away or put down anything that you were saying with how you deal with Jesus. But what I will say is for you to say that is for you your highest level, but then to try to downplay when people who genuinely say, I love the Lord, that's what I find an issue with. Because when I say that, it's because He walked me through many things that no one else has. There's no one that I'm closer to. I have besties. I got family. I've had mates. But when I can say, even with God, with certain areas of my life, when I even said to him, like, hey, look, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And if you really love me like you say, if you really, you know how you say it, like you say, then you're gonna have to let me do this, because I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. And when I say He walked me right back around to Him and showed me His love, that's why when I say I love the Lord, that's what I mean. So it's not downplayable in my book, and that's all I
feel that.
So with that being said, that brings me to the next question. As a culture, because this was one of the questions. Let me make sure I read it right.
Okay.
Words in somebody's mouth.
Because you know I had a response to that. You know what I'm tired of, America? I'm tired of hurt, frustrated, broken-hearted women communicating to the world about what love looks like and what healthy love should look like. Heal yourself, sweetheart. Do some inner work. Your anger wouldn't come out your pores and you wouldn't be arguing about what love is. But I digress.
Do we, as a culture, this is one of the questions, as a culture, do we really follow the rules of love languages?
Absolutely not.
As a culture, we don't follow any rules.
I don't think we even really understand.
As a culture, we make up our own rules. Things that make people feel good are the things that we do.
That was the question as it was sent. So I don't know what else they meant by that, but we can unpack it. So I guess what they're talking about is the general 7 love languages. Is it 7 or 9?
5.
It's 5. I'm sorry.
Girl math. There's 5 of them, folks. 5 love languages. I mean, but honestly, there's a billion of them. Like food, that's not on the list, but it's definitely a love language. So yeah.
I think they're talking about the general. Well, okay. So let me tell y'all, for real, let me tell y'all why the number escaped me. Because for me, I only feel like there's really one real love language.
Ain't no way.
For me,
So what's that?
what I said from the top of the conversation was
For me.
For me.
Oh yes.
And let me tell you why I said that. Because for me, there are levels to me, right?
Yeah.
And there are seasons to me. So to love me and for me to love you, because I feel the same about the other person, I have to be able and capable and willing to endure the changes and the seasons.
Absolutely.
I listened to everybody's definition of love. I didn't get mine. My definition of love is embracing the pits. I don't really care
Hey, that's good. You
about
preaching.
the good dates or the camaraderie or all the good times and the unicorns and rainbows. To me, all of that stuff is great. It is wonderful. It is great to embrace. I get all of that, right? So, and I'm with it. Like, that's part of it. But if the moment things go left, I'm ready to check out. I never love you. I like you.
Yeah.
I like you, and I like you a lot. I had a very good time with you, but I did not love you because when stuff went left, I bailed. And that doesn't make me weak, because you don't have to be weak to bail on somebody in their weakness. You can just be intolerant. You can be the type of person that you know if you got struggles, you want to deal with somebody else's struggles. But that ain't love to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me, that's why I say that my definition, the real language for me is only one. And it's will I and won't I. Ain't got nothing to do with gifts, admiration, acts of service, because to me that all comes in life. But that's my definition.
With the decision.
Yeah. You know, the reason why nobody has really named the love languages is because, A, I don't believe it. Everybody really knows them all. I barely knew. I know them based on the book. But to say that I utilize them the way that it's written, because I stand 10 toes on what I said. You know, I believe that with love, the main language is will I or won't I? And I also stand 10 toes deep about how I choose to deal with my mate. I think there's something extremely disturbing when a person handles their lover the same way that they handle everybody else. You know, there's a hierarchy. You know, I don't speak to my friends the way that I speak to my friend. You know what I'm saying? Because my friends don't do for me what my friend does for me, right? So because of that factor, you know, there should be some lines of demarcation in that communication, in the action, the touches, the accessibility. Okay. Yeah. And if that's not there, then, you know, for me, that's a red flag. You know, I believe that we look at culture a lot to help us define what love is. But in this culture, we have so many things that are really not good for the culture. Like, we define love by what we see, you know, Fancy Mount Scott, what we see on Love and Hip Hop, you know, with Stevie J dating 2 women at the same time. Or, you know, and then not only doing it, but being like arrogant about it. Like that's okay for a man to be that way to a woman, who should be cherished and honored and respected and loved, and vice versa. You got the housewives, and, you know, the women on the housewives ain't even wives. You know, they're too busy being 6'13" blondes and driving drunk. And now one of them about to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, these are our influences that we have now. We don't, and And even in that conversation, it goes to other things that we've lost. This generation does not have the same access to things that we've had growing up. We had shows that, showed us different sides of being a black family and being affluent. One thing we love about the Cosby Show, he was a doctor, she was a lawyer, and them chicks, and the son went to Hillman. Now we got College Hill, and everybody hit somebody in the head with a shoe, and then her forehead bleeding, and then she falling on the floor, and then nobody's getting help. They just watching her bleed, and then when she died, they all want to feel sad on Facebook. Like, that's just what the culture is now. And that's why I'm like, it's important to have a conversation where we do get back to a place of let's start defining some things. Everything is really not up to the open to just make up your own rules. We need to get back to a place of not even just having shame that was brought up in the first season, but in season 2, I'm going to say we need to get back to a place of actually having some standards. That's me. And that's why I'm like, for me, I get that it's 5, 7, or 9 different love languages. But for me, it's only one. Will I, won't I? That's just me, though.
Because it's genuine, right?
Because I also know me. People ask me all the time, like, Wes, why are you single? I tell you why. Because I'm in this phase of my life right now where I like me so much that I don't want to have to consider nobody else.
So you ain't got no side piece or nothing?
Nope.
Okay, I was just checking.
I don't have no side piece.
The piece is called the ramble.
Because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about side pieces and me. The reason I don't have no side piece
I was just telling
is
you.
because, no, I'm just saying, for real. Like, when I encounter somebody and I welcome them into all of this big space, because it's a whole lot, okay? I tell you what it is up front of what I'm willing to do and not do. But I'm also aware of myself and know that I'm in a season where I am selfish. And if I decide I want to go to Cancun for the weekend, I don't want to have to consider you. I don't want to have to ask how you feel. I don't want to have to ask if you want to go. I want to be able to get up and do what I want to do, how I want to do, and not consider you. Yeah. And because I know that, that's why I don't get no relationship. Now, I tell that up front, and that's not a dump. That's a, here's my standard. Here's my expectation, because here's where I'm at. And either you rock with it or you don't. But understand that if you decide to take this risk and it does not turn into a reward for you, you was governed up front. So for clarity, when I say selfish, I'm not a selfish lover in my relationships. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying that I'm selfish is I acknowledge that, right now I'm not in the space to be in a relationship. It's not about the other person. It's about what I know, the energy that I will bring to the situation, which is I want to be able to move how I want to move, do what I want to do, and not consider you. And it's just that. It doesn't mean, though, that I don't care about you, and it doesn't mean that I would be selfish in my relationships. It just means that I have the maturity to say to the person, like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm looking to do, and this is what I'm not willing to do. And if this doesn't fit for you, cool. Now, if you choose to stay, okay, that's a risk that you're taking. And because I told you up front, I have a right to take the reward. I think that's honest. This is about choices. Love is also about choices. Put that in the word batch, since I just throwing out words. Choices. Agape, love, God, pigeons, and choices. Put that in the batch. Choices. Oh, this clear of the throat got me nervous. What?
Oh, no, I was just, no.
I think you said a lot of good stuff. Go ahead, bro. Yeah.
I would say to the last question, in terms of the culture, because you said a lot of good things to wrap up the last segment. I would say the black culture is at a disarray because there are only so many voices that the culture truly respects and listens to. When it comes, that's one. I would say number 2.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Number 2 is that there are so many voices at this point.
Yeah.
Anybody can start a podcast. Yeah. Anybody can get on social media and go live. everybody is entitled to opinion respectfully, because we live in this great North America where we have liberties and freedoms. Everybody's entitled to their Second Amendment, right? When it comes to the culture currently and where it stands and the love conversation, the love language, that's so personal to most people if they're even interested, that you have to actually have a conversation and educate yourself if you don't know, and you have to care. So if, let's say our icons in this society, our Beyoncés, our Obamas, our Charlotte, what's the nigga name again? Charlamagne, thank you. Thank you. I mean, again, like our Kamalas.
Them niggas is none of my voice.
I mean, I get it. I'm just.
I'm back to you.
I'm just giving examples. I'm just giving examples.
Yeah.
In the context of our culture, if the voices that we look up to and respect aren't voicing it and talking about it,
then they're not
those
listening.
conversations don't come back down to the personal conversations that we have with people that we date, our friend groups, our communities, and our, calling mom in the morning, like, and our grandmothers, like that. Those conversations don't exist unless they're in the big ethers of our icons.
But my thing is, what everybody else has to say about love, do it really matter?
What you
think?
Thank you.
Yeah, because at the
It's
end
all
of the day,
about
you're
what
gonna.
me and my partner decide on how we love each other.
Yeah, because it's gonna carry out.
Oh my God, I love me some O'Shea. Okay, the girl is cool. She is chilling, baby. Love is real, baby. Love is genuine, and love is private, honey. Period.
O'Shea. So, okay, to her point, whose business is it? Does it matter? It's personal. Yes, all true. But I think all that went out the window once we got love and hip hop. We became this culture that feels like we have to broadcast everything. Like, I can meet somebody, at 5 o'clock at Starbucks. And then if I haven't posted on Facebook that we're in a relationship, then it doesn't count. Like, what I post in social media about my relationships validates it or not. And that goes back to the conversation about the voices that are being heard, that are having conversations that are not mature. I don't care what nobody says. You cannot talk about these things and not address the fact that there has to be a standard. And as a culture, we have got real loose with the standards. So I get it. Love is personal. Love is private. But love is a topic that's not being discussed enough. And it's also not being shown enough that there are good, loving relationships. I think that's why, like, even recently, I've seen a post on Facebook of a couple in a ministry, and they just went viral, 2 million plus. And I made a comment to the extent of, people are not seeing a husband hug his wife anymore. And, a comment was made where he's like, it's just a hug. And I said, that's to you. But there are wives and women in relationships that can't even get a hug from their husband or their mate, and vice versa. So it's little to you in your 20 plus years of your relationship and your marriage. But that's major to somebody who's not getting it. Hence why you got 2.5 million views.
I mean, I think there is some mainstreamness to it because, you want to grow in love. I feel like that's very true. Like, it's going to be you and that other person carrying it out.
But to Josh's point, I also believe that we're also in a time and culture where we lack leaders and have more followers.
Yeah, and then,
And I also think that there's not enough people being open about communicating about what these things. Like, believe it or not, when we was growing up, we had our parents, but then we had, aunties and uncles, and then neighbors, and then people who also influenced our upbringing.
We had community.
We had community.
Yeah.
And in the community that we have now, we don't have enough people that's saying, wait, this is actually what love is or should be, or could be, and you should follow this example versus that example. Because maybe it's me, and y'all check me, but I swear I've never seen so many open affairs, cheating, thruples,
Get it
and all
sexy.
this stuff until we hit Stevie James Johnson.
Lord.
I said it.
Can we all agree that love is just private?
Yeah.
I agree for that.
I feel like
Can I please interject?
I just
Please,
think
just give me.
it's private.
Yes, love is private, but come on, you guys. Let's be all the way. It goes on to what both of you guys said. Love is actually personal.
yeah.
And if we're just, and I'm not making it a relationship, but I think it builds the best relationships. Love is intimate, and honest. It's transparency, right?
Heavy
Yeah.
on honest.
Right?
Okay.
Intimate,
Yeah.
honest, and transparent. I'm just going to use those 3 words. Well, if I'm being intimate with Christ, and I'm being honest with Jesus, and I'm being open with him, why would the words I use every day to communicate with you niggas offend my God? No, I'm just saying, we're making him simple. We're
that
making
was
him
an
small.
alley-oop.
Like,
Boy,
he
he just
offended by the
pivoted
same
back.
word by the time.
Oh my God, how do we go back? We were doing so good, moving the conversation forward. How do we go all the way back?
And here we have come to the point in a crossroads, but please don't collect 200. Don't go. Get the hell out of Dodge. Go any other way but following Richard. Because what? How do we get back on this?
Just shut up. Just shut up and let other people talk.
He knows that when I say I fuck with him, what I mean. So he knows it's my highest honor. I'm not disrespecting y'all. Maybe people feel disrespected, or I'm not. I'm saying the idea. Think about this. You got kids. You say you got 4 kids, right? I got 7.
Shit.
It's real life. This is real life. Now I know we gonna go back over there. O'Shea.
Every time Richard bring up them 7 kids, me and O'Shea gonna laugh. It don't surprise me that you went like, shit. I was thinking the same thing too. Like 7 kids? You gonna be paying child support till Jesus come back.
You know what? I'm not gonna flip you off because
We're going to drink to that.
But I'm gonna tell her. This is real life. No, if I know what my kids are doing, if I know what they're doing, I know what they're doing. Nowadays, man, I got like these apps that show me videos of daycare times and nap times and poop times. I know what they're doing.
What they doing?
All types of stuff, bro. Like, man, my daughter got a little friend that screams for her every day she walks
yeah,
in the
no.
daycare. I'm not just dancing. I'm saying if I know all this stuff, and then my daughter comes to me and I say, hey, baby, what you do today? She's like, you know, I was just loving you, daddy. She's lying.
She is, well.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
I'm not,
Okay.
no,
Cool.
I'm saying I'm not calling anyone liars.
You
What I'm
just wanna-
saying is, if I demand and expect honesty, transparency, and truth
The
with
ramble has turned
regular
to a rumble,
people,
baby, okay?
and then say to my God, the one that I base my salvation, my belief, my truth, my hope, my freedom, my forever on, and like expect that he's cool with me
Okay. Boom.
down my
So-
words for him. But he's the creator of intellect, the creator of beauty, the creator of
So
information.
Wes,
I'm dumbing down for him.
Right. Hold on. The original.
doesn't make sense to me.
The original question was about culture and love languages.
Yes.
Okay, so
That was the original question.
in regards to culture and love languages, I feel like we're still in a season where we're trying to work on our own healing, going through trauma, and to be able to understand that love language is not only a receiving thing, it's a giving. You have to know not only how you give your love languages, but you also have to know how you receive them. And I don't know, I don't know if we're there yet. But there are the love, you do have your 5, but love being so personal, so intimate, you also know that love can develop its own language. Now food is our love language. Now cooking together is a love language. Now going to Walmart together and shopping, that's our love language, you know, every Saturday. You know what I'm saying?
But I also feel like those are things that are cultivated by the love that we experience and or feel, because
That's true.
I don't want to do any of those things that you just mentioned if I don't love you.
Oh, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like, and here's the thing, right? I think when you're younger, those are definitions of love.
Yeah.
I think the age bracket that most of us are in is that 32 or 30 and up.
Yeah.
I think that is very teenage, very puppy, when it's just like, oh my God, we held hands in the mall. I think that's there, I think when you get to a certain place though in your life, you know, love should be more serious. And I bring that because I'm going to my next point. When we talk about marriage, we talk about the difference of people who married for love and then those who married for because it's a business agreement.
Absolutely.
And I said the last time, I was like, you know, that's interesting because what happened to the place where you married for all of the above?
Yeah.
Why is it one or the other or one above the other?
Okay.
Because there are some people that's like, there's no love in my marriage if the business ain't right.
Jeez.
Uh-oh. And here's the thing I want to bring up because y'all know I do balance. I don't do a whole lot of man or woman, man. But here's the thing, right? The honesty of it is that particular topic has gotten so heavy that both women and men are doing it. Men are marrying women because the business is right. Women are marrying men because the business is right. And if we keep it a buck, growing up, we saw that as a trait that was very feminine. Now, niggas is doing it.
That's true. That's true.
I know homies right now that's up here in relationships with women because if they didn't have their woman, they'd be homeless.
What?
You know,
You ain't in love.
oh God.
You ain't got no property.
Yeah, that's
You need somewhere to stay.
And that's a whole different. Oh, no, go ahead.
So I get that argument and all that's valid for real.
Yes.
But originally when we brought up this conversation, everybody you were like, hey, what is love? And everybody was like,
Wait a minute, hold on. Because we pivoted from that.
No, I'm bringing it back to there though.
Look
It was
now.
the first response
Okay.
was that God is love, right? And then we moved to this conversation where like what love looks like in different type of places, right? It could be going to Walmart or shopping or doing all those things, right? Based on your love language, quote unquote. And I'm gonna go back to my original point, is that if God is actually love, I'm just saying, I fuck with the type of Jesus that is with me in prison or with me when I'm hugging her.
Okay.
The same Jesus that is with me in praise and worship is the Jesus that's with me when I'm, digging a hole for a body. Not that that's true. I'm just saying
I'm a pivot
extremes,
right?
right?
To where we at right now. Like, how many times am I gonna keep going back to that? Like, it's giving you're in that class of men who don't have the property. Because you gotta go back to God's love. And that just can't be true. That just can't be true. Like, bruh, let this go. We know God is love, but we're moving on to having the understanding of talking about like the balance of business and love in marriage. Why we get back to God is love again? I digest, whatever.
If he's with me in all those moments, and he knows about all those moments, then me pretending or acting like I'm different in those other moments is actually just saying to the one person who sees everything about me and knows everything about me, and it's to look at him in his face and lie to him.
What?
Yeah, it's to change my conversation. Like he wasn't just with me at Walmart when I was cussing out when I was driving. I drive in the highway and
Okay, we know you gonna. Okay, Richard. Let me tell you, Richard's gonna show up authentic, unapologetic, and I approve this message. Wes, back to you.
Okay, I got it.
Back to where we were at.
I got you, Wes.
Yes,
thank you.
So I would say the context of marriage in our 21st century, it's still new. So when you
It's
look
new?
at, yeah.
Okay.
So when you look at 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, when marriage was an institution to benefit a kingdom, to build and to establish more soldiers,
More wealth.
to create wealth and a dominance over a country, that is the context in which marriage was established. It wasn't biblical. It wasn't based on love like we know it to be in our context.
Okay.
So in this 21st century where people marry because of the people or the person that they choose, it's still new.
Yeah, for sure.
So to bring it all the way up to our 2024, That's why our LGBTQ plus community is still fighting for their rights to choose who they want to marry and who they want to love. You know, it wasn't until, I think, in the 1980s, that in Virginia, they had a big case, you know, the Love family against the state of Virginia. Love family against the state of Virginia, where the Love family wanted to introduce interracial marriage, and Virginia said, no, you got to go to another state to do it. They lost. Virginia lost. That. My whole point, y'all, is that the love conversation and who we choose to marry is still a relatively new concept
Yeah, for sure.
in our society.
So we're still trying to navigate it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That
Agree.
is so crazy to me.
Okay. So hold it.
I just, you know,
Hold it.
and I'm sorry.
Hold it. Wait, hold it up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned. We have more content coming on. Make sure you have subscribed. Subscribe. We got more content coming on the way. See you soon.